Alrighty. Hello, good evening, everyone. Hello. Unfortunately, I can't really see you on my screen. I can't see who's joined us live. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my phone in the meantime. And also, I really encourage you to ask questions, okay? So welcome, welcome, and welcome to our free workshop. Feed your kids with ease and keep your sanity. Um, I wasn't really sure how to call this a free workshop, whether to call it feed your kids with ease or feed your family with ease, because we're going to cover both. It's more about now, obviously during a social distancing or even isolation. Um, I think it's more about feeding our families because most of us don't work now, and we need to stay at home, and we have stayed at home. Hopefully there's more of you who have stayed at home with your children. So I think it's probably more how to feed our families with ease, but I'm also going to focus on children because that's what's most challenging. Okay, so I'm going to check who's live and give you a few moments to basically turn up. And I'm going to make sure that I am definitely here live because I don't know. I can't really, as I mentioned, I can't see it there. So I'm hoping you guys are here. Hi, Sarah. Hi, thank you so much for joining us. Perfect. I am live on my main page and also on in my group. And so I'm going to, I think I will have to be switching between groups and my page as well, just to see. So can you please let me know that you're here, and just say hello, hi, and let me know that you can definitely hear me and see me. I'm using my headphones, and sometimes I have problems, that's how it works with technology, unfortunately. So I'm actually hoping that you can see me and hear me well. If you could just let me know, just give me a wee that you definitely can, and everything is working fine. I'll be checking here. Right. Okay, so yeah, can hear and see. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. It's good to see, so we can carry on. I know that many of you probably can manage to join us live, but that's okay. You can watch on replay. Um, but if I could ask you something, it's if you watch replay, if you could, type replays. I know that you have watched it, and you have participated in it, even if it's if you can make it live, because life can be hectic, and we know it, especially with children. So it's fine. Okay, so I'm going to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. I'm Ola Zazinska. I'm a family nutrition specialist specializing in picky eating, and that's what I do for most of the time. I help parents transfer their meal time so they can have, happy, relaxed family meals, and I give and also give loads of tools to raise healthy and happy eaters who are joy to feed, because that's what it's all about. Especially with fussiness and pickiness, it's not always easy. And if you have a picky eater at home, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Okay, but today we're going to mainly focus on feeding our families, feeding our kids. I'm going to also give you lots of tips, what to do with picky eaters, because that's what's also very important. So I'm going to cover, hopefully all. And also I'm going to talk about organizing our kitchen during this difficult time we're going through, how you can use leftovers, how you can shop, do your food shopping on budget. So you just basically you don't throw your food away, you kind of like keep it to a minimum, because I think it's not really easy just, you know, to really leave kind of like zero waste, but at least, you know, like a minimum waste. That's what we're going to focus. I'm going to give you and tell you what I do to keep my waste, food waste, at a minimum. I'm going to tell you what I do to obviously minimize it, and how I rework, how I recycle and reuse my food in a very easy way. And also, you know, how to shop, what to look for, and so on. So we're going to cover a lot today. Okay. So yes. So first of all, I'm going to go through all the workshop topics which obviously we need to cover. Then I'm going to tell you how I can help you further with your problems, and then we will definitely do a Q&A session, so I can answer all of your questions. And if you have any, just please type them in. And also, for those of you who are going to stay with me to the end, I've got a special gift. It's my new ebook, Sensory Activities for Kids, and also involving food. So it's the ebook is mainly dedicated for picky eaters, but it's not that. You only do them with obviously with picky eaters. But you can just generally is how to, you know, make your meal times fun, how you can talk to kids about food, and teach them, you know, things as well. So that's what's included in this ebook. So it's, well, not really that it's only for picky eaters, but because I mainly work with parents of picky eaters, I'm it kind of like I say it's dedicated, because there's a lot of activities with food, so they can get used to it, they can play with it, they can see that food is, you know, something. It's basically, it can be fun. It doesn't have to be a horror, you know, or something scary. I'm also 35 weeks pregnant, so I need to wiggle or change my positions. Because this is the time when, you know, my wee baby gets pretty active. And I keep joking that, you know, that 9 o'clock when my toddler is usually asleep is like, this is my time. So hopefully his pattern is going to change. Fingers crossed. Okay. I'm going to check if we have anyone in the group, because, okay. No questions so far. That's okay. So I've got my wee notes. So just to make sure I don't forget to mention, you know, to cover all the topics we need to go through today about, you know, how to feed our kids, how to feed our family with ease during this difficult time, because that's what it is now. Of course, we are facing uncertain times. It's and understandably that most of us basically we do worry how we're going to feed our families for the next few weeks or even next few months, because, you know, we're not really sure when it's going to end. We don't know when we can go back to our old routine. And suddenly, this is how I feel, suddenly the whole world stopped. And it's like we need to learn to live our life the new way, isn't it? Because we need to learn how to shop the new way. We need to know how to do even the basic things in new way. It's something we have never done before. And so, of course, we might be facing new challenges. It's something we're not really used to. It's completely new to I think all of us, definitely most of us. I mean, definitely, you know, for me, it's just as if I need to learn to live my own life, the whole, you know, new way. So of course, it's like suddenly I can see my friends, you know, I've got toddlers, so we can really go to groups, we can go to play parks, and we can really go and shop together, because, you know, we try to keep it at a minimum. We do shopping because we need to, but it's usually my husband who goes and, you know, gets, you know, just, you know, these food that really like crucial food, like bread and something, you know, that's what we really need. So every, you know, now and again, it's once a week he needs to go. And but suddenly it's like, you know, the whole world stopped. So but my aim here is to give you as much help and as much support as I can, and provide you with lots of easy tools and strategies to make your life easier. Okay, because that's what we've been going through. It's a very tough and difficult time, and being at home 24/7, you know, as I mentioned, we will have and we are having challenges, and it's okay. But from my kind of, it's like my job is to give you lots of easy tools, because there's no need to overcomplicate things which are, you know, complicated at the start. So that's what I always do. This is how I work with parents, I call them my parents. um, and, you know, even if I, you know, give you lots of posts on Facebook or on Instagram, I always give you really easy tools, because that's what we really need as parents, okay? Because parenting is a pretty difficult job, let's be honest. And we really need easy strategies, okay? We can't overcomplicate what's already complicated. So this is my aim, to give you as much support and as much help as I can. So please reach out to me if you need anything, if you have any questions. I'm not sure if you're in the group. If you're not in the group, raising a healthy family, so please join in. You can post over there. You can send me an email. You can send me a direct message. Just ask, okay? And I'll provide you uh, with my advice, with my answers, and just to make, you know, everyone's life easier. Okay, so of course I think we really need to start to, you know, to cover all the topics. So the first topic I'm going to talk about is why our children's appetite is all over the place at the moment, okay? Especially during social distancing, when they're home, they kind of grounded, they can't really go, they can run, and they don't go to school or nursery. They basically at home. You know, you're probably homeschooling, and their appetite can be all over the place. The appetite might be very, very, you know, low. They might not be hungry, or on the other hand, they could be asking for food all the time, like all day long, you know, like demanding food. Because that's what just usually, like, two scenarios. They might not be hungry at all. They might eat basically very little at snacks, and especially at meal times. Well, because children do love snacking, okay? So probably they might eat less on meal times, and it's understandable. I'm going to tell you why. They don't burn as much calories as they normally do when they go to school. They do a lot, you know, they normal life activities. They're not active, so they don't burn as much. It means that they basically don't need, their bodies don't need to provide, you know, calories as normal, as the usual. So whether they do, even if you homeschooling them, they obviously, what they sit. Maybe they watch more TV, which is absolutely fine. They maybe play in the garden, but it's just not, they don't really burn as much. So it's understandable that they might eat less at meal times. However, on the other side, as I mentioned, they might be also asking for snacks, especially for snacks. They might want to graze throughout the day, like, graze all day long. But then we know what happens when kids graze. When they, I get a little bit breathless because, I mentioned I'm 35 weeks pregnant, so I get a little bit breathless, but don't worry, I'm fine. It's just, how it is. So yeah. So why they keep asking? They might be probably because they're bored, because that's what we human tend to do. Okay, we bored. I'm not saying all of us, but that's what we as humans tend to do. When we bored, okay, we tend to eat, but we tend to graze. So that's why they might be asking for snacks, even demanding snacks all day long. So it's just, we need to be aware of that. But, and also when they keep filling up, even like very little, but, all day long, they might not have appetite for dinner. And so it just depends what you really want to do. I'm also going to give you some tools how you can save your dinner, so your child at least eats their dinner, because we do really want them to eat, and most parents do. Most parents really have challenges with basically dinners, okay? And of course, especially during this time, we tend to worry more because we don't know, what basically our future is, and how long it's going to last. All the situation with coronavirus, and with this isolation, social distancing, when we can get back our life, when you can start our old, go back to our old routine. So we might want to eat more on comforting food, and it's all right. Just be easy on yourself, okay? Give yourself this permission to also fill up, if this is what you want, if this is what your kids also want, to fill up more on comforting food. And because comforting food, it's just going to comfort us. So and we know that for most of us, food is pretty important, and it's like, and we tend to connect and link food with emotions. So if this is something, I just want to tell you that it's okay to give yourself permission to go easy. Okay, just go easy on yourself. Don't be too hard, because you've got lots of different things during the day to do. It's not only food and eating, and of course it's a very important part of our lives, but it's not the most important. Okay, you've got other things to do, you've got other things to worry about. Homeschooling, shopping, how to get out, maybe your budget, washing, cleaning, and everything else. So just be easy, okay, and give yourself this permission to kind of like breathe and relax. Don't be hard on yourself. It's just not worth it. Okay, so that's the appetite can be all over the place. The second thing we're going to cover is how to avoid dinner, how to avoid dinner refusal. Okay, so as I mentioned, that's what can happen. They can just ask for snacks all day long. Please just let me know, is this what we are experiencing now? Is it that your child has no appetite basically and doesn't really want to eat dinner, or they ask for snacks, or maybe both, obviously, and both. And just let me know in the comments, is this something that you are that's what's been happening in your household? Just let me know, please, in the comments. And I would love to know. And also, if you could tell me how many children you have in the comments, how many children you have and how old are they? And yeah, so you can get know better. I've got one child at the moment and one in my bum. So as I mentioned, I'm 35 weeks pregnant. So my due date is next month, and it's going to be a boy. And we've got one girl. She's 2.5. So yeah, fun time with a toddler. Okay, so how to avoid the refusal. So first of all, it's like, especially if you do homeschooling, and I'm sure you can see there's so many posts, people obviously support one another, which is really good, and it's really it's great what's been happening now, that people give basically support one another with lots of tools. I can see lots of posts about how people's routine is now, what time they do, and how they homeschool, and all these ideas how to keep it occupied and active during this time. So it is, you might also, if you have obviously, if this is something what you do, you have a new routine. Obviously, it's a completely new routine because you home probably 24/7 now. So you do probably have a new routine, and I really encourage you to incorporate like an eating schedule into your routine as well. Okay, if you have a routine from what time to, until what time you do homeschooling, and then when kids have time to watch TV, when it's time to free play, and and so on and so on. So I really encourage you to also have to include in your new routine, into your new schedule, eating schedule or feeding schedule, however you call it. Okay, it's much better for children so they know they can, once they know when they are eating, especially for older children, because maybe with toddlers it's just different, they don't really understand the time frame. So but it's good to have feeding schedule. It's even our bodies can basically build up an appetite. Our bodies, we have time to build up on appetite, and it gives children, and I mean all of us, this kind of like a security that the food is coming. Okay, like you have at least like 3 meals, so you've got breakfast, lunch and dinner, and maybe 2 snacks in between. You really want to have like a clear non-eating times and eating times, so when the food is coming and when we don't eat. So then when we don't eat, we allow our bodies to build up basically an appetite and be ready to eat. Otherwise, children won't be interested in food. And I'm sure this is something you already know, you have figure out yourself. It's if they graze all day long and they don't get a chance to build up on appetite. So that's why having a feeding or eating schedule is really important. Okay, as I said, by feeding schedule I mean eating and non-eating times. So so it's just much easier to kind of like control it. It's easier for you even to get ready and to prepare everything what you need to do. Okay, so because I've got my list here, so I just want to make sure that I'm going to cover everything. And I know that obviously it's tempting to let your child eat whenever they want, especially, you know, if they don't really eat too much, if the appetite is just all over the place, because it can be. But then if they, you know, they just don't get opportunities to build up this appetite. And I'm not really talking here about starving them, absolutely not, but it's something I'm absolutely against. But, you know, when you provide them 3 meals and 2 snacks, there's no absolute way. There's like, you know, it's not like starving policy. It's just for them to be ready, ready to eat, so they have appetite for at least for you know, for dinner. So, so that's what you cook, and it just doesn't go to waste, because especially during this time, it's important to keep your waste to the minimum. So yeah, and as I said, never follow eat or starve policy, please. It is something I'm totally against. It's just wrong. And most children, of course, most children, we want to believe that they won't starve themselves to death. They will eventually choose something to eat. But some children with sensory difficulties or some eating disorders, they might. And it's proven by research that at least 10% kids would actually starve themselves before choosing to eat something they have no intention to do so. So that's why I'm totally against this policy. And I think that there always needs to be something on the table for everyone, something familiar for everyone. So they have, so they can come and they know that there's definitely something for them to eat. I'm not saying about, you know, that everything, like every single dish or food item you put on the table, but at least something, at least 2 foods. I always say there's 2 food items. They always need to be something for everyone. So please never follow this policy to get your child to eat more, or maybe to get your child to eat something they just have no intention to do so. It's just, it's not going to work. And I know from my experience and experience of parents I work with, it doesn't work this way. And it needs to be, the atmosphere needs to be very positive. That's what we really need to focus on, especially now during this time we are going through. So, okay, another point I'm going to cover is how to stop your child from demanding snacks all day long. This is something I have also mentioned. So obviously eating schedule, you really want to have eating schedule. They need to know that there are non-eating and eating times. You might need some strategies to know how to set healthy boundaries, and how to talk to kids, because that's what's important. And I know many like programs about feeding kids or overcoming challenges or picky eating. They mostly focus on, you know, how to feed kids, but I also talk a lot about how to talk to children, because this is challenging. It's not that we only need to know how to feed them, we also need to know how to talk to them. We need to know how to answer, how to and be prepared for them, because they might be wanting to kind of like battle us, you know, like you know, they say something that they're not going to eat, or they won't touch it, or they don't like it, even if they haven't tried. But it's important we as parents be as much prepared, so we know how to talk to our children, and we know how to set these healthy boundaries. And then it's a win-win strategy, basically. So, I'm going to give you my favorite strategies. What I do if children obviously demand snacks and you don't really want to give them because you know that basically dinner is ready in half an hour, and if you give them this pack of crisps or pack of biscuits, your dinner's over. They won't eat because they feel just filled up on crackers or something else. So to avoid that, you really need to be prepared how to talk to them, and also how to talk to them and to avoid these constant battles, because I'm sure you're tired of battling. You just don't want to do it, and it's something. If you know how to talk to them, if you know how to respond, you're fine. And then once you stick to it, and your kids will just need basically like a few days to get also used to like a new routine, because they need to have some time, like we all do, to get used to things. Luckily, kids can get used to pretty quicker than we adults. So yeah. So my favorite strategies are kitchen is closed rule. So that's what I like, but it works really well, and it's not even only my favorite strategy, but it's also favorite strategy of parents that I work with. They really love this strategy. It's called the kitchen is closed, and it's like you basically give you eat something, like let's say you eat your lunch, okay, and your child doesn't really want it, just maybe has one bite here, and but that is not really interested. So what I like to tell children that instead of like, you've got to eat this, you need to, you have to eat this or something, just take a few more bites, take 3 more bites, just take one. Instead of saying all these common phrases, I like to ask and kind of like warn kids and tell them, and that's what I even do with my toddler. And I tell her that make sure your tummy is full, because we won't eat until snack time. Okay, so then she knows she's not going to get anything to eat until snack time. So you are telling them that there's another opportunity, there's another eating opportunity, but not now and not in 5 minutes. So it's not something you basically prevent from asking for snacks 5 minutes later. And because they know already they won't get anything until, if you have an older child who can understand, make sure your tummy is full, because we won't eat until, let's say, 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, okay? And then they know you give your child the warning, you give them a heads up, and they quickly learn this. So it's really good. And the kitchen is closed rule. For example, they might be testing you and ask you, okay, mommy, like half an hour later, I'm hungry now, because I didn't really eat much at lunch, so I'm hungry now. So so you can tell them, sorry, honey, the kitchen is closed now, but it will reopen at 2 o'clock. And it's wonderful, because I know it works very well, and parents really love that rule. So especially I like to use it around dinner time, because you don't want to ruin your dinner. So it's really good if you have a little one, because obviously I don't tell my toddler we will eat at 2 o'clock, because it means nothing to her. What I do, if she keeps asking me for food and snacks in between, then I just try. What I do, I just try to keep her, use distraction. I try to keep her occupied then, okay? I try to distract her with something. And instead of saying, no, you can't have right now, it's not time for eating, because then if I said something like that, she would go like, "Wah!" for 100%, she would try to battle it and cry and throw a tantrum, and it wouldn't be really nice. So instead of saying that, no, you can't have it, in this not very nice way, because it's just like it would be just like an invitation for a tantrum, and you want to avoid that. Okay, you do. And just try to distract them with an activity, or so we can offer that you do something together, or maybe do something nice, go out to the garden if you have one, or basically just use distraction. And so your aim is to tell your child that we will eat soon, even little one. So yeah, the aim is that you really need to focus is that we will eat soon, but not now. But with little ones, it's something we really need to do to distract them. And also, especially if the dinner is just about to be ready, okay? Let's say that your dinner is just, I don't know, will be ready in 20 minutes, and they just keep asking for something, and they're on and on and on this food. What I do, and I like to do, if I know that she won't give up, okay, and there's no way she'll give up, I tell her, okay, so what we're gonna do, we're going to include this food she's on about, and eat it together with our dinner. And that's what I do. And that it's not that I only say it and I don't do it, and I always do it. And I have to surprise you, for most of the time she just forgets about this, but I also include it. It's not that I don't cheat, okay? If I say that I'll do it, I always do it. So most of the time she forgets about it, and then when dinner's on the table, obviously she got a chance to build up on appetite, so she's ready to eat, she's ready to come to the table. She doesn't really refuse to join us at the table, and it's just because this routine we have on is working very well. And for all of us, for the whole family, it's not only for her but for the whole family, because this is how we live. We all have basically the same feeding schedule. Okay, I follow the same feeding schedule for all of us. So she's ready to eat, and even if she just doesn't remember, and of course if you have older child, they will remember, but even if they eat only that food they were on about, that's okay. It's only one dinner. You have another 21, if you've, at least 21 meal times a week, plus even snacks. So just don't worry about this. Don't be hard on them and on yourself, because it will, it would just literally end up with some battles and tantrums. Right, so the next one we're going to cover is how to keep your child occupied while you cook. And of course, you have an older child. They're pretty good at keeping occupied themselves. But that's more difficult, more challenging with little ones, if you have a toddler, preschooler. So what I do, I like to keep a few toys and activities just put away, and only take them out during dinner time, my dinner time prep. So she gets pretty excited because it's something she hasn't really seen that day, and it's kind of like a new toy or something she hasn't really done it in this day. So so she gets excited. And what these activities normally are, because I've got them here. We picked up some when we were on the beach one day. We picked up some stones, so we do like to color them, and that's what then I give it to her. Okay, I let her to color them, and she's like, "Ooh, it's something new." Or obviously, you can just give them coloring bricks. You can use stickers. There's no stickers anymore here. Or give them some stickers to stick on something. I like to give Kaya, we've got this aqua doodle. Not sure if you have it. It's like a mat, and then she can she gets some water and she can play with it. What I also do, I've got a drawer over there. There's a drawer, if you can, the middle one, and it's dedicated for her. And if she's really like trying to interrupt me, you know, and you know, so to keep her occupied, I open it, and she can play, and then she's happy. And or ask her, you know, let's just take out some spatulas and things like that, and then she's happy. We also have, of course, it's not that, you know, in every household, or even now, we probably might not get a chance to get that, and it's not so easy. We also have this kitchen helper, and it's wonderful. I really love it. So as I said, maybe now you might really struggle to get it, and it's not so cheap. It's not so cheap either. But maybe this is something you can consider in the future. This is actually my husband and our friend actually built it together, okay? Because we found the ones we could get, they were just too dear, too expensive. I have to be honest, so it's a DIY. And it was much cheaper. It's just up to you. You can just use the chair and just, you know, be careful about, basically, and just keep an eye on your child. So we do like it. It's why we use it all the time, because Kaya sometimes eats in there because that's what she wants to. And we cook a lot together because she loves cooking. She loves being involved. So that's is great. But also I use it to keep her occupied, because she loves, like probably most children, play, you know, with some water. And I basically, she's just then playing with water and, you know, doing things, and I've got some time to finish my dinner. So that's what I do. So this is what I most of the time how I keep my toddler occupied. And I'm going to check if there are any questions here. I'm not sure, because I don't really want to miss. Oh, Sarah, Ola, I have twin girls who are 6 in 2 weeks. I wouldn't say they are fussy. There's a good selection of food, but could be more extensive, just constantly asking for snacks, and it's hard to keep up the variety as they get bored easily. Yeah, this week I have tried snack boxes for them to help themselves throughout the day. Which one's gonna out refilled and make success with this? Right, I know, especially with snacks. I know that snacks, it's something. Thank you very much, Sarah, for your comment. And snacks can be pretty tough, and it's something that you really want to avoid battling with them, because it's like, sometimes you're bored, you kind of like, you've got enough, come on, you know. It's just like it seems like a constant battle. It's good that they're not picky, but even if they're constantly asking for snacks, and it's hard to keep up the variety as they get. Yeah, and I really encourage you, if they keep up, obviously you need a feeding schedule. Okay, you need to. That's what I would suggest. Incorporate a feeding schedule. You don't have to be 100% rigid, but you want to be flexible, but like pretty close. Okay, so have these non-eating times and eating times. And as I gave this strategy about giving them a heads up, so they know they won't get something until like I don't know, another eating opportunity is at 2 o'clock or at 5 o'clock, or, you know, whatever. So then they know they won't really, and then sorry honey, the kitchen is closed, you know. It's kind of like you got a warning, like, you know, it's not something you want to say, to go warning. But I really want to encourage you and give you great advice how you can include more variety in snacks. So this is how we work with how I work with parents. It's something it's not that we only focus on meal times, on dinner, but also on snacks. It's really important to also know how to serve snacks, so they so you can basically incorporate more variety. I really encourage you to serve them at least 2 or even 3 food items for snacks. So even if you, but that's okay. I mean, even if you give them, or that's what they want, like a typical food snacks. Okay, they want crackers, cookies, or something. That's okay. You can give them that. But I also encourage you to have you can have like 2 or 3 items on a plate. Okay, you can give them crackers if this is something they want, but I encourage you to give them like a piece of fruit and let's say a yogurt. And even if they only eat this, decide to eat crackers, okay, and maybe they touch one day this fruit, but because you mentioned that they're not picky, so and they eat pretty good variety anyway, so this is how I teach parents to serve snacks, to give children some choice, but also allow them to choose. Okay, so you serve them, you are kind of like responsible for what's on the plate, where you serve them, but then your job is done, and then you leave it out to them, whether they eat it or not. So they can have these typical snack item, crackers, cookies, or whatever, a piece of fruit, and it could be something else, or just this, and then when you serve them snacks this way, offering them more choice, offering them more variety, giving them the chance to eat it, they will, they might eat, this typical snack foods, crackers, but they will also eat probably fruit, maybe not right away. For those of you guys who do have picky eaters, and they might be asking now, yeah, but they won't eat it anyway, it would just go to waste. Well, yes, but this is how they need to learn. Okay, if they see something every single day, like every snack, you give them some choice and not forcing them to eat it, just leaving it out to them, they'll get used to it, that they see more choice, they see more variety, and they will start eating it, and they always do. But they just need to get a chance. Okay, so I'm going to actually, I don't really have any typical like snacks. I'm going to maybe do it like a post tomorrow, do a repost. This is what you can do, like, I don't know, mandarin, let's say pack of crisp or crackers, and then yogurt. So if they don't want to eat yogurt, they don't have to open it. If they don't want to eat this mandarin, they don't have to peel it off. Or a banana, they don't have to, peel the skin off the banana if they don't want to eat it. And then it doesn't really go to waste. You can put the whole apple. Maybe they take one bite, but that's okay. I mean, but just offer them, but don't force them to eat it. Okay, don't remind them, yeah, but you've got this apple still, there's still apple on the plate for you to eat. No, just leave it out to them. Give them what they also, if they ask for something, give them that, but give them more, give them some options, give them some choice. And this is how I do it, even with my Kaya. Every single day, every single snack, she gets some variety. So even if we cook a cake, bake a cake, okay, and we eating this cake, okay, she gets one piece, I get one piece, but it's not, I don't only serve her a piece of cake. She always gets something else. She gets, it would be like an apple, sometimes it would be mandarins, maybe a few strawberries, and then maybe a yogurt, or just cake and strawberries, or just cake, cake and fruit. Just at least 2, but if you give them 3, that's even better, okay? So 3 food items, even with snacks. And then there's more chance that they fill up on it, and then they won't ask for more, like in 5 minutes, on 10 minutes, on half an hour, and they will be fine until another eating opportunity. And this is how their bodies learn, okay? And they've got this chance to build up on appetite. And I hope this is clear, Sarah. Please let me know if you need more, if you need anything else, just please let me know. Yeah. So always, focus on options. We mentioned how to keep a child occupied, what to do to make mealtime fun. And that's really, especially now when you're 24/7, when you're at home 24/7. And even if, well, it doesn't matter really if you're 24/7, but I mean now, because we all together, okay, we stay home and we've got more chance to be together. But even if you, hopefully soon we get back to reality, we get back to our old routine. This is what I always encourage parents, and always this should be the most important step, is the most important thing when it comes to eating, is to keep your meal times fun. And this is what you guys need to focus on always. Just to I know it's challenging and it's difficult for a lot of us, but that's what it should be our key, okay? Is to keep our meal times fun, to focus on the quality of meal times rather than how much our child has eaten, what they have chosen to eat. That is actually, I might surprise you, but this is actually less important. The most important is the quality, whether it's a measurable time you're not looking forward to, or is the time everyone looks forward to, okay? Because I'm sure you can agree with me, but this is what mealtime should be about: connecting. It's not really eating, isn't the most important thing. It is an important aspect when it comes to mealtime. The most important aspect is the connection we make with our kids, with everyone, with your partner. It's what we do, how we talk to each other. I do really encourage you to talk a lot. Just talk, tell funny stories, ask how your day has been, because especially if you have younger children, or if you have teenagers, that teenagers. I'm not going to say that every teenager, but most teenagers, they like to be kind of like locked in their own room for most of the time, so you don't see really them. So mealtime could only be your only opportunity to actually talk to them, okay, before they go upstairs or somewhere to their room and lock themselves. So that's why we really need to talk and focus on, talk about funny stories, how your day has been. Ask your child how they, what they, how was school and what they did, what they're gonna do, or talk about films, and take your focus away of food, because food shouldn't be a topic to talk about it at the table, okay? So it's not eating, having a meal time together. It's not the opportunity to talk about food. It's not the time to talk about nutrition or how something is good for them. It's not. So you really want to talk about something else, you know, but not about food. So yeah, I really, it's like you encourage you to, so you have really good giggle, like laugh, and do everything you can to move away your focus from food. And I know if you have a picky eater, you might be like, yeah, but if I don't tell my child to eat, they won't eat. No. I might surprise you. I might just need to burst your bubble. But this is always the first step in overcoming picky eating is, and this is how I work with my parents, the atmosphere, the atmosphere at the table needs to be positive for them to be interested in food, for them to be ready to start eating new foods, to be open and adventure. Nothing's gonna change if the atmosphere is tough and it's unpleasant, it's negative. And think, if imagine that you work somewhere, okay, in the workplace. You go and the atmosphere is horrible, and the atmosphere is very negative, and you don't really want to be there. Is the place, if there's so much negativity around something, you just don't want to be there. Okay, you don't want to be there, you don't really want to work them, you just don't fancy it. It just doesn't give you this pleasure. And the same is with meal times. If we constantly remind them to eat, we constantly ask them to take few more bites, that's why they don't want to eat, that's why they don't want to take few more bites, that's why they don't want to try new foods, because they constantly are reminded and nagged and told to do so. And it never works this way. So it needs to be, it only works from a place of positivity, from a place of happiness, and from a place of quality. So if atmosphere is positive and nice, this is the time when they want to eat more. This is the time, if the atmosphere is positive, nice and happy, this is how they learn to, and they want themselves, kids, because they do want to eat. It's just most parents kind of like, it's sort of like, how is it called? I've got this word. We're working against. Of course, we do it from a place of love, because we want them to eat, because we don't want them to starve. We have all these good intentions, but it's counterproductive. Oh, this is the word I forgot. Counterproductive. It is counterproductive when you constantly push, when you constantly nag, when you constantly remind them. So yeah, focus on quality. And remember, good giggle, fun at the table, that's your key now. Okay, what to do, and also, to make mealtimes fun. And because now we all, or most of us, have stayed home, for a good few days now, and we are going to be home for another couple of weeks at least. So perhaps most of it, that's what you guys been doing, but I really encourage you to have family style meals. And this is something I'm going to post, how I do it, how we do it, and how I encourage parents to do it. Family style meal, what I actually mean by family style meals, it's where you put all the food items in the middle of the table. It's sort of like an aka buffet style, okay? You put all the food items in the middle of the table for everyone to serve themselves. So every family member chooses what they want to eat, chooses what to eat and how much to eat. And And by doing this, you also keep your waste a minimum. So it's something you do instead of pre-plating, like a traditional pre-plating food. You don't pre-plate food. You just put everything in the middle, and guys, help yourself, take whatever you want. And it's and the and all parents I work with, they really start seeing benefits. They might be, some of them are skeptical at the start, and that's what you might be feeling right now, very skeptical. But once you start doing it, you know, you only start seeing the benefits. Because this is how you also encourage good giggle. This is how you minimize your waste, because you don't pre-plate. Because if it's something, you know, pre-plated, you just throw away if it's uneaten. And we experienced tend to serve our children too much. And then we always, this is what nearly every parent, when they start working with me, they really, one of the challenges they face is so much wastage, so much food wastage. And yes, there is so much wastage, especially when you pre-plate, because what you do when it's uneaten, you just throw away. But if you do family style or buffet style, what's untouched, what's, you know, stays on in these dishes. It doesn't really, you don't really have to use fancy dishes, you know, like fancy plates to serve your food. I don't do it, because who wants to, you know, have lots of, you know, washing up later on and then this thing's full? Nobody really. So what I do, I just put all the pans, all the pots, cooking trays I have cooked in, baked in, and that's it. I don't really, if I cook, I don't, in a pot, I just put it in the, you know, in the center of the table. I don't bother, you know, they having, you know, nice fancy plates for it, or bowls or platters or something. I don't use things like that, because, you know, I can't be really bothered washing up. So that's what I encourage you to do. And then if it's something uneaten, it can be easily put back to the fridge. You can freeze it, you can do whatever you can, because it's untouched. And there you go. Your waste is kept a minimum. And the mealtime is fun. And everyone's happy, because kids can also choose. They are happier because they get to choose whatever they want. And if you have a picky eater, of course, at the beginning, they will only choose to eat their favorite food, or maybe just rice, or just plain pasta, or just plain potatoes. That can happen at the beginning, but it will change, because, you know, when the atmosphere is nice and happy, when they get opportunity to choose what they want from what you provide, they're happier, they're relaxed, and they soon are going to reach out for new foods. And that what happens, even if it seems like, no, it can't happen, my child would never eat anything new. And I know you might be feeling skeptical, especially when you battle with your child, but it changes quickly. So it's really good to encourage at the table some quizzes. You can play, you can you know, engage kids, and obviously conversation. That's what you really want to focus on. Okay, so the next topic we're going to cover is how to organize your kitchen during coronavirus social distancing. Okay, so how to organize your kitchen. What I do and what I like to do, especially now, because as I mentioned, we really need to learn to do everything new way. Maybe not everything, but a lot of things, a lot of house work kind of new way, because we need to shop a new way and cook new way. It's if you want to keep your waste to a minimum. So it's something that we really need to learn to do new way. And so I really encourage you. That's what I did last week. I encourage you to go through all your cupboards and see what you've got. And then, I don't know how good you are, but I have to tell you something and admit I was very surprised what I had. And yeah, we didn't stock up on too much food. I know that some of you might have stocked up on a lot of food in fear you won't get it, and that's okay. I'm not going to judge anyone. We didn't do this. I just made sure that I've got one bag of rice, one bag of pasta, just maybe not one bag of like a one pasta type, let's say. So it's not that like just a few tins of beans, just to make sure it would keep us going for, let's say, 2 weeks, but not like the next year or decade. So yeah, but when I went through all my cupboards, I was pretty much surprised what I had. So it's a good thing to see it, to see what you have, and it's a good opportunity to actually kind of like tidy up. That's what I did. Yeah, and then you might also be surprised what you guys have. So if you check your recipe best before a date, and if it's still okay, if it's still fine, put it in front, so you know that you need to reuse it. You need to reuse it basically. And go through your freezer and even your fridge. And of course, fridge is something we implement kind of like every so often, because we do shopping, I don't know, once a week or once every few days. But in most households, it's not that we know 100% what we've got there. There are also some corners or some shelves that we do have stuff we don't know about. So that's why I encourage you to go through, not even your cupboards, but go through your fridge and your freezer. And your freezer is probably like a treasure box. And I'm sure you will be surprised what you have in your freezer, because I was shocked. And I had many food items I had no idea about, no idea about, okay? And my mistake was that some of them even weren't labeled. So I had to open them and see, and then, oh, right, I didn't remember even I had that. So it's a good opportunity to reuse it too. But make sure it's still okay. Even if it's in the freezer, people say, but it's fine, you can have it for years. Not really. And especially if you have some meat scraps or meat in general, that tend to go dry. So it's just up to you, assess it and see if this is something you want to use, or maybe it's just time to basically, throw away, because it's just not safe to eat it anymore. That's what can happen. I was shocked. I was surprised, I have to be honest with you, what I had in my freezer. I was. So it was a great opportunity to me to tidy up, to clear it. I didn't throw away much, just probably a couple of food items, I would say. But it gave me a chance to sort it. So I basically sorted it by, like, I've got 2 drawers. One drawer is like where I keep my frozen veg, and then I keep my meat, fish, and some like food boxes and food in food bags. And what I did, I sorted it, right? As I mentioned, one drawer is dedicated now only for mainly for the vegetables. So this is what I know. If I need some vegetables, if I cook stock or I cook soup or casserole or something, this is, you know, the drawer I open, and I know, you know, all my vegetables are there. I have some frozen fruit, mainly for smoothies. I also add them to oatmeal and on sometimes even cakes. So it's good to have frozen fruit as well. Yeah, and then obviously meat, fish, and some meals cooked already for, you know, that I can be bothered, because that's what I do a lot as well. I like to cook bigger portion. I like to cook bigger batch, so I can, you know, split it in half and freeze half of it, so we can eat, let's say, half of it, I don't know, today, tonight, or and then I can freeze another half to have it for, like, so we can have it and it's already in my freezer for another time, so we can eat it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, and whenever. It just saves my time, so I don't have to cook every single day. And I have to be honest with you that I freeze a lot. I also freeze soups. I freeze stock, because stock I make my own. So I freeze a lot. Okay, so my freezer is always packed up to the brim. That's how I do it, and it's a really great way to store your food as well. So that's what I do, and encourage you to do that as well. So go through your cupboards, freezer, and fridge and see what you've got, and I'm sure you're going to find something you have no idea about. Okay, you can freeze pretty much everything. As I mentioned, I freeze a lot, like really seriously a lot, because I can't be bothered cooking every single day, and I really like to be well prepared, and I love cooking bigger batches, so I can freeze some, and so that, you know, it's just going to save me time for another time. We're going to have something. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's what I need to mention as well. Thank God I made notes, because that's a lot we have in here. Okay, so I suggest that when you go through your cupboards, that if you have something, if you have like loads of bins or some tins, or, you know, that you look for meal inspirations, and you definitely know what you can use it for, what you can cook. So it's not something that you've got something in your cupboard, but kind of like, I don't know what to make, I just don't know, you know, what to do with it. So look for some meal inspirations, and maybe something new as well. Why not? It just, you know, make something new, try to reuse it in a different way than you would normally do it. So okay. How to reuse food leftovers so you can minimize your waste. Okay, so that's what I've mentioned already, but it's really need to say that again. If you want to reuse your food leftover and keep it a minimum, freeze, recycle, freeze, recycle. Okay, don't be afraid of freezing, and then you can recycle. I'll tell you what I do. I have in my freezer basically like a Ziploc bag, which I call it scrap bag. And because most of our dinners, not saying that 100%, but most of our dinners are served family style. So if I have any leftovers, even if I have a little of, let's say, broccoli, or a little bit of roasted sweet potatoes, or or anything like green beans, whatever's left, or even some meat. If I have sausages from, I don't know, breakfast or lunch or dinner, even if it's one sausage, seriously, I wouldn't throw away. If I had one sausage, there's lots of things you can reuse it for. You can basically recycle it. If you have no idea what to make it like for tomorrow, how you can reuse it tomorrow, Ziploc and a freezer. And I always, I promise you, I always have in my freezer scrap, this is how I call it, scrap bag. It's basically a Ziploc bag. Well, if you have a big freezer, of course you can use a food container. A food container takes a whole lot of space. And that's why I like to use Ziploc bags. So I put all my food leftovers, if I don't know, or I'm not going, I know I won't use it for tomorrow. I won't reuse it tomorrow. So in my bag, I put everything what I have in my bag and I put it into the fridge. And sometimes what I would do, I would keep adding on. So let's say I'm going to put roasted potatoes and broccoli today, because that's what's left from today's dinner. Okay, I know I'm not going to use it tomorrow, but I also don't want to throw away, because why? It's like throwing away your money. So I would put it in my Ziploc bag, put it in the freezer, and tomorrow, if I have something else, let's say tomorrow I have a few green beans or something else left over, I would add it onto this bag. Okay, and I sometimes keep adding on. Obviously, you don't want to have a big pile, like a big pile of scrap, because you just want to finally, like after a couple of days or max 3-4 days, you really want to reuse that food. So even if I have one single sausage, I would never throw away. I would freeze it, or at least put it in my fridge, and then recycle it and rework it, make something, add it to something next day. Or, as I said, I would freeze it and reuse it after like a few days. Okay, so really you want to rethink your food if wanting to if you want to throw away, rethink your food. If this idea of throwing food away crosses your mind, just think what you can make, how you can reuse it, what you can do. If you think like, I don't know, I basically have no idea right now what I can make. Okay, Ziploc bag, and you put it in the freezer. And you get, and then you definitely reuse it. So don't throw anything away. Well, not anything, but keep it to a minimum. So serve family style meals. It's a wonderful way of keeping your waste to a minimum. It's because if it's something untouched, you can basically freeze it or use it the next day. If it's something pre-plated, no, you probably need to throw away. But that's what most people do. Okay, so keep it to a minimum. Okay, but I also can tell you something. I'm not sure if this is something maybe you've been doing, or maybe this is something you haven't heard of. That you can still freeze your leftover fruit. Let's say you're like when I mentioned about serving snacks. Okay, your child wants a bag of crisps, but you give them also an apple. But then your child only had one bite of apple, and then you might be like, well, what I'm gonna do? This isn't like a whole apple. This is just, bitten once or something. So you can still freeze it. You can still, put it in the freezer. You can still have, obviously, separate for fruit. I would really encourage you to have a separate Ziploc bag scrap bag for the fruit. What you can do, and that's what I do, I wash it, or you can trim, and it's a great idea. So you can trim off any bitten parts, okay, and still put into your freezer bag. And then you can have it, you can build up some stock and use it for smoothies. And see, and it doesn't go to waste. You offer it to your child. If you are skeptical about giving your child too much choice because you think, yeah, well, he's not going to eat it anyway, so what's the point? It is a point, because this is how we change their habits, okay? This is how we teach them, and this is how they learn to eat differently. If they see something like that every single day, they change the way they think about food. And that's what we want for them. We want to teach them good habits. We want to teach them that fruit and veg, it's something we eat very often. It's something good. So even you can freeze your fruit. I encourage you to do that. And then recycle. Keep in the fridge if you know you're going to rework it, and reuse within max, I would say 2 days, max 2 days. This is how I do it. But if you don't know what you're gonna make, just scrap back and put it in the freezer. Okay, so I'm going to give you, I've listed my favorite dish ideas, how I use my leftovers, okay? So as I said, if I have anything, even like even a tiny bit of broccoli I have left over, or cauliflower or anything, I would never throw away, okay? I would just freeze it or put it into my fridge and reuse it. And that's what are my favorite ways and dish ideas to use my leftovers, is to make egg frittata. We have egg frittata at least once a week, so I can recycle and reuse all my leftovers as an egg frittata. Sometimes I would do like an egg frittata on a pan. Sometimes I would make something like baked egg muffins. So for this you need, it's just like an egg frittata. You know, you have your mixed egg, you can put all the veggie leftovers, chopped sausage. If you have one sausage, you can chop it up and add it all together, and you would put it into your muffin tin and bake it for like 15 minutes, and that's, you've got really nice muffins. I really like, that's what we have usually on Friday night, pita bread pizzas. I love pita bread pizzas, and you know what? I always have pita bread in my freezer. So if I have any scraps, if I have any leftover food, and I know something is maybe not off because I wouldn't eat it, if something, you know, you can see mold or something is really off, there's no like discussion, you need to throw away. It's just not healthy. So then but using leftovers, pita bread pizzas or tortilla wrap pizzas, wonderful way to reuse your leftovers, and that's what I keep in the freezer, just in case. I always have pita bread in my freezer. So I make pasta bake. Sometimes I would cook pasta and then or defrost these veggies from my scrap bag, and that is how I would use. Or French toast, if I have some bread and I know it's still all right, but it's just not fresh, and I know, for example, we're going shopping the next day, and I this bread is not fresh, and we get fresh one tomorrow, so I would make French toast. And smoothies, and you can reuse your your leftover fruit and even fresh fruit or anything you've got on hand. Okay, so how to do your grocery shopping on budget and what to look for. Okay, so stocking too much on food isn't really budget friendly, and I'm sure you know that. So I don't really suggest, and I don't really encourage you to stock on too much food, and because we just by doing this we really tend to spend a lot of money and not really reuse that food. And I know with the situation we're facing now, some of you might fear this scarcity, food scarcity, but most stores are kind of like they stock up on food on a daily basis. So I hope that fear is kind of like under control now, and we basically won't run out of food. Okay, so you keep your shopping to a minimum, but you also want to avoid going shopping every so often. So just make sure you have enough for a week or max 2 weeks, but always remember to use what you have stocked up on, okay? And I suggest that, you do your shopping mindfully, and so you check best before if it's something maybe so it doesn't go off quickly, so you've got a chance to eat it. If you know they might not get eaten, put in the freezer and freeze. I freeze pretty much everything to avoid wasting food. That's what you can do as well. And so you can, if you want to buy more meat, or more something, or I don't know, a big bag of carrots, let's say, and you're just not going to use it all. Just you can peel off the skin, I don't know, and just dice it and freeze it, and just so you have it on hand for something else. And this is how I do as well. If I buy mushrooms, I like to freeze it too. I slice it and freeze it. If I buy, I don't know, let's say 4 pepper bells, and I know it might go off pretty quickly, so I keep 1 or 2 fresh in the fridge, and then I would chop it and freeze it as well, so it's ready if I need to make like a stir fries, or even add to my soup, or pretty much anything like a casserole. So I freeze a lot. I do. I make sure you guys, if you have, hello Sarah, that's very helpful. I already use the kitchen is closed at breakfast to try and get them out of the house in time. Yeah, it's a great strategy. So definitely use that throughout the day too. I will get them to help me together, our schedule to include my work, they work, our meal, snack times. Was thinking it might be helpful to model it loosely on the school day if you think that's a good idea. Thanks so much for your advice. Also nice to see someone else other than 4 of us. Yeah, exactly. Yes, you're welcome, Sarah. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. And of course, you're going to have a different schedule now and different schedule when they go back to school. But I really encourage you, okay, and suggest that even if when they go back to school, that you do have some even loose, okay, because you don't really want to be 100% rigid, okay, because we need to be flexible these days, but to have some sort of feeding schedule even when they go to school. And it's probably much easier to keep a feeding schedule when they're at school, because you know what time they go to school, you know what time they come back, you know all the activities they have during the week. So remember, feeding schedule just needs to work for your family, okay? It needs to work for everyone in the house, for everyone involved, okay? It just needs to work for you. So yeah, so include all, when they go back to school, include all the activities they have and everything. But I encourage you to have some sort of eating schedule, and it's good because kids feel safe and they thrive on routine. And kids feel safe, and then they kind of know their bodies get used to and um, get used to and they learn to and they build up on this appetite, so they, once the meal is there here ready for them, they're ready to eat. And it's just the bodies they need, they adapt, so they kind of like become hungry around this time you're feeding, these eating zones. Okay, so yeah, so I think most of the things we have covered. And also um, of course, we need to keep an eye on our budget, especially now because we don't know what's going to happen, and how the economy will react. We just don't know, so we need to rethink what we are doing and what we have been doing in terms of spending our money on spending. So that's why we really need to incorporate some mindful strategies when it comes to shopping. Yeah, especially now more than ever. Okay. Yeah, we need to think what we eat. And also, and I know that because everything is just so uncertain, and we also, as I mentioned, we also need to keep our budget under control. But also we need to know that now, especially now more than ever, it's also good to think what we eat as well, because we really want to keep our spending budget to a minimum, but I don't want you to go on this like site to buy really cheap and processed food just to keep it to a minimum. Okay. Because now, especially now more than ever with the coronavirus, we really need to think about our health, because our health is important, and the health of our children. And you really want to eat also nutritious food. And so that's why we really need to be mindful and keep an eye on what we throw away, so we keep our waste to a minimum. Yeah. And we also encourage you to include at least some nutritious food, as much as you can. And I know if you have a picky eater or a like extreme picky eater, who would only eat like 5 different foods, and is not really a fan of any fruit or veggies, that could also be difficult. And I'm not a big fan of cheating children with hiding veggies as well. That's not the strategy I normally use, but I give you permission to do that. It's just to fill up our bodies on nutritious food, or as much nutritious food as we can. That's why we really need to keep the waste to a minimum, so we can reuse it, rethink our food, but also eat nutritious food, because we really need to boost our immune system. Do what you can to boost it, okay, rather than work against it. We don't want to weaken it with highly processed food and unhealthy food, but you really want to also focus on eating as much as you can nutritious food. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have, any sweets, any snacks. No, but it's all about moderation, and I encourage you to rethink that as well. It's all about moderation. It's okay, that's what we eat in the house too. We eat crackers, we eat ice creams, we eat all that, cookies, and I bake a lot. But it's just being mindful about that, and keeping an eye on what you eat. And so you really want to boost your immune system. You really need to take care of yourself and of your kids, especially now, because we really need to take care of our health. So encourage you that to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to take this opportunity and tell you how I can help you further. And of course, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I will be posting pretty much every day to give you some tips. That's what I've been doing. I try to do, maybe not every day, but I try to post every so often with some tips about how to feed our children, our families, some easy tips, because that's what I use. I always use very simple and easy strategies, because there's no need to overcomplicate things was already complicated. They need to work for you as well, and they always do. So as I mentioned, just reach out to me if you have any question. You can email me, you can send me direct message, anything you really want to. I'm here to absolutely help you. But I also want to announce, because I just have this need to help as many people, as many parents as possible, especially now during this, uncertain times, to give you as much access to me, as much help as possible. So I've got a really great offer for you. If this is something you are ready to do so, if you're ready to make a change, if you want to improve your kids' eating, if you want to improve the eating habits, and if you have especially if you have a picky eater, or you want to improve, you want to know how to serve foods in a fun way, you want to have happy meal times, so everyone is just comes to the table happy, and you want to know how to create this positive environment, if you want to know how to talk to kids, if you have any feeding challenges, if it's something that they tend to refuse to come to the table, if it's something they tend to refuse to eat at meal times, or maybe they graze on snacks all the time, and you're just not sure how to talk to them, what to do, what strategies to use, to follow, to help them, to basically learn them, to teach them, so they can learn eating habits. So it's a great opportunity for you, and it's the program is designed by me, and I'm going to introduce you now to my very own program. It's called Goodbye Picky Eating, and it's a great what it is. Goodbye Picky Eating program. It's basically a step-by-step, very easy to follow program for parents who struggle with some eating challenges, feeding challenges, who've got picky eaters. Maybe your child doesn't want to try new foods and fears to try new foods. If you want your child to eat more variety, if you want your child to be open and adventure to eat new foods, if you want them to learn to like and enjoy new foods and try, this program is absolutely for you. It's a wonderful program. It's a very actionable step-by-step complete plan. It's like basically everything you need to know to help your child to have better eating habits, to learn to like and enjoy new foods, to have happy mealtime, family meal times, and so on. So it's just what we do. It's obviously we cover the mealtime setup, the schedule. It's how to serve foods, how to serve foods in this positive way, so kids are willing to be more adventure, to be more open and try new foods. As what to say and how to talk to kids, because that's what's important. We really need to know. It's not that we need to know how we serve foods. It's we also need to know how we talk to our kids, what to tell, how to respond to them, how to overcome challenges. And that's what's all about. That's all included in the program. How to prevent tantrums, how to prevent mealtime battles, how to handle all one-off situations. And basically, it's like I take you, I'll take you by hand through this journey of making a change, of teaching your children new habits, or teaching your children to be more adventurous, to try new foods, to have this relaxed meal times, and so you don't have to stress about. So it's something to look forward for everyone in the family. And the program is broken down into 3 phases, and this is how I work with additional tips, tools, and strategies. It's just what I mentioned. It's everything you need to know how to feed your children, how to feed your family. And so it's just broken down into 3 phases. The phase 1, where we focus on, is the crucial, which I've already mentioned. It's what we do. We create happy atmosphere, positive atmosphere. We focus on the quality of meal times, and I'll tell you everything. It's a step-by-step complete plan, and it's everything you need to know how to achieve that. And then we build a new structure. It's again step by step. When you go to phase 2, it's a step-by-step plan how to achieve that, how to build a new structure that works for your family, that works for you, for everyone involved, taking into account your busy schedule and everything what's been going on, because it needs to work for you, for every single family. It's not that one fits all. Okay, no, it wouldn't work. It just needs to work for everyone. And then we go to phase 3, when I show you how to include new foods, how to serve new foods in a nice way, so your child is exposed to new foods, but doesn't battle it, doesn't really it doesn't react negatively. Okay, so it's all done in a very nice and positive way. It's more like guiding them step by step and teaching them to try and enjoy new foods. And again, it's a step by step. Everything is very actionable, step-by-step formula how to achieve that as well. So your child isn't, so you break this route of serving the same foods day after day. So if this is something you have been doing, serving the same meals, the same foods day after day, and this is exactly what you've got to cook maybe 2 different dinners, maybe 3 different dinners, for your family members, because you've got picky eater, that they won't eat anything else. This is something I teach you, and I basically take you by hand through this, and I show you how you can achieve, so you can cook only 1 meal for everyone. It just saves your time and saves you money in the end as well. Who wants to cook 3 different dinners? Nobody. And I'm sure this is something you've been doing, and it's a chance for you to stop it and finally start cooking only 1 meal for everyone. Okay, and everyone can be happy. And that's what we do. and that's the main goal the main goal of this program is to show you how this can be done, because it can be done. The whole program can be basically implemented within 5 weeks. So within 5 weeks, you know everything what you need to know to feed your kids, to feed your picky eater, and how to feed your family, how to serve it, um, how to teach your child to eat varied diet, to be more open, more adventurous when it comes to food, and change the atmosphere, because you don't want to battle. You just don't want to fight with your kids anymore. You really want to serve food, and you want them to eat that. And this is doable, and this is within your reach right now. And that this is my offer. And I've got a really wonderful offer, because the program I'm talking about, Goodbye Picky Eating, is valued at nearly £750. But because now I really want to help as many parents as possible, I'm offering it to you for £97, and you've got instant access to the whole program for only £97, and it's 5 module program. There is few lessons within in each module. I recently added my new ebooks as well, like about sensory activities. One ebook says the new one is sensory activities, and my best-selling ebook, 100 easy and smart snack ideas for kids. So I keep adding more and more and more. So if you purchase it now and you get your instant access now, so you can start working on it even from now, because what you do upon the purchase, you receive a membership site. You log into your own very own membership site where you have everything. The program is all within this site. So you log in, and it's basically all video based, and I walk you through step by step what you need to know, everything you need to know. And it's all video based. All lessons are so you can watch them, you can listen to them, and you can download the ebooks which are included. And I make changes every so often, and I keep adding on more lessons. So even if you purchase it now, and I, for example, decide to add more lessons or more ebooks, like I don't know, next year, for example, that's where you get access to that as well. So it's kind of like ever evolving program, because I keep adding more and more and more. If I may create some new products, some new ebooks, some new sheets, or something which I know they will help you. So it's a one-off payment, £97 or $120 if you prefer to pay in dollars, because I know some of you are from United States. So it's £97 now. It's a special promotion, especially now during this time we are going through, because I really want to help as many parents as possible. And if it's something you think it's for you, and you are ready to make a change, you are ready to improve your family meal times, to transform your family meal times, so you're ready to raise healthy and happy eater who are joy to feed, I really encourage you to at least have a look and see if this is a good fit for you, and join the program. And it's like being taken by hand, and it's a wonderful program, very actionable. It's everything you need to know, okay? And I know it works because I have worked with many parents, and it works for real families. It's not something you know, it's not something like complicated, because it's a step by step, and this is something, it needs to work for you, because every family is different. We have different schedule, so it just needs to work for every single family, and it does work, and I know. So if you have any question, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a link to this program, so you can to the link, so we can read more information about it. You can see and just, you know, read about it more, just so you can have a look and see and decide if this is something for you, if it's something you need, and if you're ready to make a change, and if this is something you really want to know to help your children with, to overcome feeding challenges. So have a look. Once I finish this live, I'm going to post it, add it, you know, in the comments and also on the top of the page, so you can have a look and see if this is something of your interest. Okay, so I'll double check if there is any more. I go and check to my group and see if there is something maybe in the group. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. There's no questions. I can't see any more questions. So we're ready to finish. I think I have talked for nearly 2 hours. That's a long time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send you, Sarah and Talef, my gift, as I promised for you. For those of you who you know, who join me live and stay to the end, I've got a special gift for you, which I'm going to send it to you. So to make sure you find it and download it, please. So it's about sensory, you know, activities for kids, how you can include in food as well, so you can have lots of fun, and transfer your meal times as well. So that's my special gift for you for participating in this workshop. Thank you so much, everyone who have joined me live, and thank you so much, guys, those of you who will watch this on replay. And please don't forget to type replays. I know that you have watched it, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, have a good night, take care, and see you next time.